Lionel Messi is 39 years old and he's playing in his sixth World Cup. Most players his age are commentators by now. He's still the best player on the pitch, and this might be the last time we ever see him wear the Argentina shirt at a World Cup. This is that story, 39 years old. Let that sink in for a second. And instead of fading out, Messi is still leading the line for the defending champions. This tournament isn't a farewell tour. He's still trying to win it. But before we get into 2026, let's rewind. Because to understand why this World Cup means so much, you have to understand the three that came before it. Messi's first real shot at the trophy. Argentina made it all the way to the final and lost to Germany in the extra time. It was heartbreak, but it was also the moment the chase officially began. 2018 was the opposite. A disjointed Argentina team crashed out in the round of 16, beaten by a young French side. This was the low point, the tournament where people openly asked if Messi would ever win it at all. Then 2022 happened. Messi delivered arguably the greatest individual World Cup performance ever, and finally lifted the trophy. Every doubt silenced in one tournament, which brings us to now. Argentina arrive in North America as defending champions. Messi is playing in his sixth World Cup, more than any Argentine in history. And there's one question hanging over everything. Can he do it again and close his international career exactly the way he'd have written it? But before we get to the trophy chase, there's a night in Atlanta we need to talk about. A night that almost wrote a very different ending to this story. We'll come back to it. Let's back up and walk through how Argentina actually got here. Game by game, Argentina came into this tournament as holders, chasing something no team has done in over 60 years. A back-to-back World Cup win, and it's largely the same core group from 2022, with Messi still wearing the armband. Their group stage draw put them in Group J alongside Algeria, Austria, and Jordan, one of the tournament's breakout nations. On paper, a manageable group. In practice, it still had a scare or two. Game 1, a win over Algeria to open the title defense. Game 2 against Austria was the one to remember. On his 200th international appearance, Messi scored a hat-trick, tying Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup goals record, even after missing an early penalty. Game 3, a mostly rotated Argentina side still beat Jordan 3-1. Messi came off the bench and scored anyway. His sixth goal of the tournament and the 19th of his career, extending his own record. 3 games, 3 wins, 0 points dropped. Argentina finished the group stage tied with France for the most goals scored in the entire tournament at that point, 14. And somewhere in those 3 games, Messi quietly became the outright leading goal scorer in World Cup history, a record that had eluded him for over a decade. Gone, just like that. Here's the road ahead. Round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinal, semifinal, and the final. 3 of these are already checked off. 2 remain. But one of those checked off boxes almost didn't happen, because the round of 16 nearly ended everything. This is the moment. If you remember one thing from this whole tournament, it's probably this match. Round of 16, Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Argentina versus Egypt. And this wasn't just any knockout game. It put 2 of the sport's biggest icons on the same pitch, in what both sides sensed might be a farewell. Days before the match, Mohamed Salah was asked who he'd most want to share one final World Cup stage with. He didn't hesitate. He said Messi. 15 minutes in, Egypt caught Argentina's backline napping and headed home across. 1-0, and the shock was real. Argentina got a penalty almost immediately after. Messi stepped up and missed. The Egyptian keeper guessed right. His second missed penalty of this tournament alone, and the 4th of his entire World Cup career. Egypt extended the lead in the second half, and for a long stretch this looked like it, the ending nobody wanted in what might be Messi's last World Cup. Then, the 79th minute. Messi turns provider, sets up Christian Romero, and Argentina are back in it. 4 minutes later, Messi himself. He levels the score at 2-2, and in doing so, scores in a 9th straight World Cup match. A new record for consecutive appearances scored in. And then, deep into stoppage time, Enzo Fernández rises highest, heads it home, and completes one of the great World Cup comebacks. 3-2. Argentina survive. Let's just sit with those numbers for a second. Down 2 goals, 9 straight matches scored in, a 3-2 final score, one in stoppage time, and a missed penalty that could have changed everything. It might end up being remembered as Messi's most enduring moment of the entire tournament, not because of the goal itself, but because of what it would have meant to lose. And here's the thing, this farewell narrative didn't start in Atlanta, it started a year earlier. Let's rewind to summer 2025, because Argentina was already saying goodbye before this World Cup even began. Ahead of the 2025 Copa America, the Argentine Football Association dropped a promotional film built entirely around Messi and the team's history, leaning hard into themes of brotherhood and unity. The film opened with Argentina's founding story, then moved through their footballing glory, 1978, 1986, 2022. It paid tribute to Diego Maradona and Mario Kempes, the two men who delivered World Cups before Messi, and it closed on one message, more united than ever. 3 World Cup titles, 3 eras, 1 through line, Kempes in 78, Maradona in 86, and Messi in 2022. The promo wasn't subtle about where it was placing him. Even before the 2026 World Cup kicked off, this tournament was already being talked about as Messi's possible final international appearance for Argentina. And Argentine fans felt it too. That promo landed right when people were already bracing for the idea that Messi's international story was entering its final year, turning every appearance since into a small goodbye. Fast forward to now, and that promo basically wrote the trailer for what we're watching. The record-breaking goals, the Egypt comeback, the run to the semifinal. Everything it foreshadowed is playing out live. So let's get back to right now, because there are only 2 games left to find out how this ends. Here's exactly where Argentina's title defense stands today. July 11th, Kansas City. Argentina got past a stubborn Swiss side who'd needed penalties just to get past Colombia the round before and booked their spot in the semifinal. 5 wins from 5, 14 goals scored, tied for the most of any team left in the tournament. This is not a team limping to the finish line. Group stage, round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinal, all done, all won. 2 matches remain, the semifinal and the final. July 15th, Atlanta. Argentina versus England, who topped their own group behind Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. This is by far the biggest match of Argentina's tournament so far. If they get through, here's what's on the line. Back-to-back World Cup titles, something only 2 nations have ever done. Argentina would join Italy in the 30s and Brazil in the late 50s and early 60s in that club. And for Messi personally, it would be the exact ending his entire international career has been building toward. If Argentina get past England, the final awaits. July 19th, New York/New Jersey Stadium, the biggest stage of the tournament for potentially the biggest moment of Messi's career. Let's recap what Messi's actually done here. 8 goals through the quarterfinal, 9 straight matches scored in, 19 career World Cup goals, the all-time record, and his 200th international cap reached during this very tournament. But let's be clear, this isn't a one-man show. Lautaro Martinez, Enzo Fernández, Christian Romero, Giovanni Lo Celso, they've all stepped up. 14 team goals across 5 wins tells you that. 2 games stand between Argentina and history, the semi-final on July 15th, and if they win that, the final on July 19th. Potentially the last match of Messi's World Cup career, whichever way it goes. So here's the question this whole video's been building to. Does Messi get his storybook ending? We don't know yet, but we're about to find out. Mark your calendar. Semi-final. Wednesday, July 15th, Atlanta. Final if Argentina get there. Sunday, July 19th, New York/New Jersey Stadium, 3 p.m. Eastern.